The paradox of choice. Finding freedom through limiting your daily options. Have you ever felt overwhelmed by the endless options in your life? The countless apps, the infinite shows, the thousands of products, the daily decisions that seem small but quietly steal your energy? You wake up to a world where every choice feels like a test, where freedom masquerades as options, and yet deep down, you feel trapped. This is the paradox of choice. And today, I'm going to reveal why limiting your options, intentionally, consciously, can actually give you the freedom your soul is craving. Not just in theory, but in practical, everyday ways that can transform your mental clarity, your energy, and your entire life experience. Because here's the truth that most modern spiritual teachings miss. Freedom is not found in more options. It is found in fewer but more meaningful options. Section 1. Understanding the modern choice overload. We live in an age of abundance. Scroll through your phone, and within seconds you're offered hundreds of options. What to eat, what to watch, who to connect with, what opinion to adopt. Even the simplest actions, like choosing what to wear or which route to take, now involve micro-decisions that our ancestors never faced. On the surface, this seems liberating. But here's the paradox. The more options we have, the less free we actually feel. Why? Because our minds are not designed for infinite choices. Evolution didn't prepare us for 500 types of breakfast cereal, 50 streaming services, and endless social media feeds. When the brain faces too many possibilities, it experiences decision fatigue. Each choice, no matter how small, consumes energy. By the evening, you're exhausted from deciding what to eat, what to wear, or which notification to respond to first. Regret and second-guessing. The more options, the higher the chance we feel we made the wrong choice, even if our decision was objectively fine. Paralysis. Sometimes too many choices lead to inaction. We delay, procrastinate, or avoid decisions entirely. Ironically, what is meant to free us often traps us. This is not just theory, it's been studied. Psychologists like Barry Schwartz, author of The Paradox of Choice, have demonstrated that societies with more freedom in choice experience higher levels of anxiety, dissatisfaction, and depression. So, what is the spiritual implication here? Every choice you make is not just a decision, it's a drain on your energy, a fraction of your awareness, a small tether on your soul. And when these micro-tethers multiply by hundreds every day, your sense of freedom erodes without you even realizing it. Section 2. The illusion of freedom in modern life. Many people equate freedom with having more options. I can do whatever I want, becomes the mantra of modern life. But here's the awakened truth. True freedom is not having the ability to choose endlessly. It is having clarity about what truly matters and letting go of the rest. Think about it. A monk in a monastery or a mystic in a remote cave doesn't have hundreds of choices every day. Yet, they experience more inner freedom than the busiest CEO in a skyscraper office. Why? Because their choices are minimal, intentional, and aligned with what actually nourishes the mind, body, and spirit. This is not about deprivation. It's about liberation. When you reduce unnecessary choices, you conserve energy for what truly matters. You eliminate anxiety caused by overthinking. You reclaim time that is otherwise lost in indecision. Imagine if your morning routine didn't involve agonizing over breakfast options, clothing, or which notification to answer first. Imagine if your mind was free to focus on creation, contemplation, or connection, instead of endlessly comparing. This is not theory, it's practical. Steve Jobs wore the same black turtleneck every day to eliminate unnecessary decision-making. Mark Zuckerberg simplifies his wardrobe for the same reason. These are examples of applying the spiritual principle of limiting choices to expand consciousness. Section 3. How limiting options creates true freedom. Here is the core of what most people miss. Freedom through limitation is counterintuitive, but profoundly effective. By intentionally reducing choices in your daily life, you reclaim not just energy but presence, the ability to be fully here, fully aware, fully alive. Let me guide you through the areas of life where this principle can transform your experience. Daily routine and habits. The more habits you simplify, the more mental bandwidth you free. Example: choose 3 meals you enjoy and rotate them. Don't scroll endlessly for the perfect breakfast. Example: morning routine, meditation, movement, hydration. Stick to these 3 pillars. Fewer options, greater focus. Digital consumption, social media, streaming platforms, and endless apps are designed to maximize choices and drain your attention. Action: limit screen time, unsubscribe from unnecessary apps, or create a schedule for digital interaction. Result: your attention becomes a resource you control, not one controlled by algorithms. Clothing and personal decisions. Reducing wardrobe options isn't about looking boring, it's about eliminating micro decisions that steal energy. Create a minimalist wardrobe or adopt a uniform. The choice you make once, consciously, is repeated effortlessly. Financial choices. Endless financial options, credit cards, investment accounts, subscription services create mental clutter. Solution: simplify banking, automate investments, and create boundaries around spending. Result: your finances no longer drain your mind. Money becomes a tool, not a stressor. Social interactions. Every social choice, who to meet, who to text, who to engage with, has subtle energetic costs. Limit commitments consciously. Focus on meaningful relationships that feed your growth, not obligations that drain you. When you implement these practices, you experience something extraordinary. Every choice you make becomes sacred because it is intentional, conscious, and meaningful. The noise disappears and clarity emerges. Section 4. Spiritual perspective. Limitation as liberation. From a spiritual perspective, modern choice overload is a distraction from the deeper work of awakening. When your mind is constantly navigating minor options, it rarely rests in awareness. It rarely sits in the present moment, fully immersed in the life that is already here. Limiting choices is not an act of control over the world. It's an act of surrender to your own consciousness. It is a way of saying, I will no longer let external possibilities dictate my inner state. I choose clarity. I choose presence. I choose freedom within limitation. This principle is mirrored in ancient wisdom. The Stoics taught us to simplify desires and control only what is within our power. Buddhist practice emphasizes non-attachment to outcomes and reduction of craving. Mystics throughout history have sought minimalism in daily living to expand spiritual awareness. The awakened mind understands that less is more, not just materially, but in decisions, commitments, and energy allocation. Each limitation imposed consciously is a step closer to true freedom. Section 5. Practical steps to begin today. Let's get concrete. You don't have to overhaul your life overnight. Start small. Begin with one category of choice today and expand gradually. Morning simplification. Pick one breakfast, one outfit, and one priority task. Notice how much energy is liberated. Digital declutter. Identify one app or platform that consumes mental energy unnecessarily. Remove it. Replace scrolling with reflection, journaling, or mindful breathing. Decision blocks. Assign categories of daily decisions to fixed routines. Example: all meals pre-decided on Sundays, clothing choices set for the week. Intentional commitments. Before saying yes, ask, does this choice align with my purpose, my energy, my growth? If not, release it. Notice the paradox. The fewer your options, the more empowered you feel. The mind no longer spreads itself thin. The soul has space to breathe. Your awareness expands and freedom becomes tangible, not theoretical. Section 6. The inner transformation. When you consistently practice limiting choices, the shift is profound. Anxiety decreases. Your mind is no longer a battlefield of endless decisions. Creativity rises. Energy once spent on trivial choices is now available for creation. Presence deepens. You notice beauty in the ordinary because the mind isn't distracted. Freedom manifests. You realize that freedom isn't an external condition, it is an internal state. You are no longer a slave to options, trends, or the endless pull of novelty. Instead, you inhabit your life fully, consciously, and deeply. You have stepped off the treadmill of infinite possibilities and entered the sacred space of intentional living. If you take nothing else from this message, take this. Freedom is not found in more choices. Freedom is found in the conscious limitation of choices. Start today. Simplify one area of your life. Notice the energy, clarity, and inner peace that arises. And if you want to explore this path deeper, unlock more clarity, awaken your awareness, and live intentionally, subscribe to Inspiration and Insight. Join our billion-strong community of awakened minds, because true freedom is not out there. It is in here, in the choices you make to free yourself from the endless illusions of modern life. Remember, limit consciously, live fully, and awaken completely.